Elon Musk's claims versus reality, an in-depth examination of his role in reshaping the U.S. Government. Elon Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur and CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, and X, has emerged as a central figure in President Donald Trump's administration since January 2025. Tasked with leading the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Musk has made bold claims about slashing federal bureaucracy, eliminating waste, and saving taxpayers billions of dollars. His rhetoric, amplified through his ownership of X and frequent public appearances alongside Trump, paints a picture of a revolutionary overhaul of the U.S. government. However, a closer examination of his actions, government reports, and independent analyses reveals a significant gap between Musk's claims and the tangible outcomes of his initiatives as of March 13, 2025. This article delves into what Musk says he is doing, what is actually happening, and the broader implications for American governance. Musk's claims. A vision of radical efficiency, Elon Musk's public narrative centers on a mission to chainsaw bureaucracy and root out inefficiency in the federal government. Since taking on the role of DOGE overseer, he has repeatedly claimed to be saving billions by firing tens of thousands of federal workers, canceling contracts, and dismantling entire agencies. During a February 2025 appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast, Musk asserted that his efforts had uncovered hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud, including payments to non-existent employees and dead Social Security recipients. He has also boasted of specific wins, such as halting a supposed $50 million condom shipment to Gaza and identifying $55 billion in savings through DOGE's cuts. Musk's messaging is consistent. He portrays himself as a disruptor wielding a scalpel, or occasionally a chainsaw, to excise waste, fraud, and ideological excess from government operations. On X, he has suggested that agencies like the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, promote climate extremism and gender radicalism, aligning his cuts with a broader conservative critique of liberal initiatives. In an Oval Office event on February 12, 2025, alongside Trump, Musk claimed his team was enhancing transparency and tackling corruption, positioning DOGE as a force for fiscal responsibility and public good. His ultimate vision, as hinted in recent posts on X, includes a DOGE dividend, a plan to redistribute savings directly to taxpayers as checks, incentivizing citizens to report wasteful spending. Musk's narrative is one of empowerment, efficiency, and a leaner government that prioritizes American prosperity over bureaucratic bloat. What's actually happening? Chaos, exaggeration, and conflicts of interest. While Musk's claims are bold and appealing to his supporters, the reality of DOGE's actions is far messier and less triumphant. Independent reports, government documents, and lawsuits paint a picture of disorganized cuts, exaggerated savings, and potential conflicts of interest that undermine his stated goals. 1. Mass firings and agency disruption. Musk has overseen the termination of thousands of federal employees, 6,700 from the IRS alone, alongside significant layoffs at the Department of Veterans Affairs, Social Security Administration, SSA, and USAID. His February 2025 ultimatum demanding workers justify their accomplishments or face termination sparked resignations, including 21 technologists from the U.S. Digital Service, rebranded as DOGE, who protested the dismantling of critical systems. Agencies like the FAA saw hundreds of safety officials fired following the Potomac River mid-air collision, raising alarms about public safety. However, these cuts have often lacked precision. Critics, including labor unions and former officials like Hillary Clinton, argue that DOGE's actions ignore mission-critical needs, with little evidence that fired workers were redundant or fraudulent. The Office of Personnel Management, OPM, has scrambled to clarify directives, sometimes contradicting Musk's threats, leading to confusion and low morale among federal workers. Harvard professor Elizabeth Linos warned in February 2025 that these sweeping cuts could cause harms that are not going to be easily undone. 2. Exaggerated savings and misleading claims. Musk's touted $55 billion in savings has been widely debunked. Reports from outlets like NPR and the BBC reveal that many cited figures are inflated or erroneous. For instance, a claimed $8 billion program cut was later shown to be worth closer to $8 million. A mathematical error off by 3 orders of magnitude. Other savings involve contracts already paid out, meaning no actual funds are recovered. The $50 million condom shipment to Gaza, which Musk claimed to have stopped, was clarified by the State Department and International Medical Corps as a mischaracterization, Funding was for broader humanitarian aid, not contraceptives destined for Gaza. Similarly, Musk's assertion of 20 million dead people marked as alive in the SSA database, allegedly costing billions, was refuted by the SSA's acting commissioner, Lee Dudek. The data reflected records without death dates, not active benefit recipients. These discrepancies suggest that Musk's savings are more rhetorical than real, with little transparency on how DOGE calculates its figures. 3. Ideological targets in Project 2025 echoes. Rather than a neutral efficiency drive, DOGE's actions align closely with the far-right Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, a blueprint for reshaping government under a second Trump term. Agencies like the Department of Labor, USAID, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, which Musk declared RIP on X, have been targeted for their roles in worker rights, foreign aid, and financial regulation, respectively. Critics argue that Musk is using fraud and waste as a pretext to dismantle programs disliked by conservatives, not to save money. For example, USAID's near-total elimination, 83% of programs cut, reflects Project 2025's accusations of climate extremism, despite its role in global health and development. 4. Conflicts of interest and personal gain. Musk's dual role as DOGE leader and CEO of companies with billions in federal contracts, SpaceX, Tesla, Starlink, raises significant ethical concerns. The CFPB, which he helped shutter, had investigated Tesla's loan practices, a move that conveniently benefits his business interests. Meanwhile, SpaceX's contracts with NASA and the Pentagon remain untouched, and Starlink's importance to Ukraine's military efforts has bolstered Musk's geopolitical leverage. Experts like Larry Noble, former FEC General Counsel, warn that Musk's influence over agencies regulating his companies presents wide-ranging and dangerous conflicts of interest. Musk's meetings with foreign leaders like India's Narendra Modi in February 2025 blur the line between DOGE duties and Tesla's expansion plans, further complicating his role. The Trump administration insists Musk operates legally, but the lack of oversight and transparency fuels skepticism. 5. Public backlash and limited wins. Public approval of Musk's efforts is waning. A Washington Post Ipsos poll from March 2025 shows 50% of Americans disapprove of his government role versus 34% who approve, with protests erupting over cuts to veteran benefits and 9/11 survivor aid. DOGE's tangible achievements, such as modernizing VA websites before its staff was gutted, are overshadowed by the chaos and uncertainty left in its wake. The gap, rhetoric versus results. The disconnect between Musk's claims and reality lies in execution and intent. He promises a streamlined, fraud-free government but delivers disorganized cuts with questionable savings. His focus on ideological foes suggests a political agenda over fiscal prudence, while his business ties hint at self-interest. The DOGE dividend remains a speculative idea, not a funded plan, and his transparency claims are undercut by a lack of detailed reporting on DOGE's operations. Musk's approach mirrors his private sector playbook: disrupt first, refine later, as seen in his 2022 Twitter takeover. But the federal government, with its 2 million employees and complex mandates, resists such blunt tactics. The result is a bureaucracy in turmoil, with safety, services, and trust at risk, and savings that don't add up. Implications for America. As of March 13, 2025, Musk's tenure at DOGE raises critical questions. Can a billionaire with vast private interests fairly reshape public institutions? Is efficiency worth the cost of destabilizing essential services? His alliance with Trump amplifies his influence, but growing resistance, from lawsuits to public outcry, suggests limits to his power. If Musk's vision prevails, it could redefine governance, prioritizing deregulation and privatization. If it falters, it may serve as a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition in the public sphere. For now, the gap between what Elon Musk claims and what is actually being done remains wide, leaving Americans to grapple with the consequences of his experiment in government disruption. By Scott Young, aka Sinfamous Gamer.